Thank you very much. And thank everyone for being here. It's amazing to see beautiful and handsome faces, looking happy, reconnecting, trusting God for a greater thing in their life. Could you please stand up for me, please, just for 1 second? Nobody has done this. When the company was introducing those African friends, I was scared the way he was murdering some of the names, but he got them. I think so. So find out yourself now. Find out the person beside you. It could be from Cameroon, Ghana. Just find out their names. It's important to me. Just let somebody know. That's the first connection we're going to do. What's the name? Find out somebody's name for me. Correctly now. What's your real name? Left or right? Connect with someone. Wonderful. Now lift up your right hand for me. Say, my friend. I can't hear you. Say, my friend. No. You're going to do it well. Say, my friend. By the time we leave here, I want to see you transformed. Unlock every great possibility. Say yes. It is possible. Thank you. Put your hands together for yourself. Amazing people. No, you can do better. Come on. Encourage someone. Amazing. I was sharing with my good friend, Dr. Charles, and coincidentally, Aproko was with me, a few days ago, discussing about this program. He came to see me in Port Harcourt, and I told him, to some of us, it's becoming conference fatigued. You're not in a hurry to go and speak anymore, because it seems sometimes it's like recycling of the same messages. But my fear is, I hope these words are resonating. Am I communicating? I hope it's not going to be, after this program, somebody is traveling back to Cameroon, Lagos, Abuja, wherever, and somebody gets you on the way. What did you get out of this program? You say, Kai, Dr. Linus fired. Dr. Olumide killed it. Dr. Charles fired the place. Aproko broke the hall. And that's all you got out of the program. It's not going to be good. I hope the whole program is resonating. You're assimilating values, something that you'll be able to replicate in your life. Bring something good out of it. Help your family, help yourself. Because you can't continue to make motion without movement. Every year, the same story. You're going to be doing the same program, the same conference, because there's going to be another one in Abuja coming up either this year or later next year. So you have to allow this to resurrect. That's my prayer for everyone. Amen? Somebody will say, a pastor is here. We're hearing amen. I will start with a story of my friend who happens to be a zookeeper. Yes. It got to a time that the animals were going into extinct. And so he started losing some of his admirers who visit the zoo, tourists who come to the zoo to admire his zoo and pay him for it. He was making a fortune out of it. But after a while, these animals were no longer there. The lions were not there any longer. The baboons were no longer. The chimpanzees were dying. So he was figuring out, like Linus or Jamie strategies or Charles or any one of you here. There are great strategies. He started planning. What am I going to do? That's what thinkers do. That's the difference between thinkers and ordinary people. Instead of finding out, what am I going to do to make sure I retain my customers? Think out something to always retain your admirer. Think out something to retain those who trust in you. So what am I going to do? He decided to call his friends. Okay, I'm going to put up employment strategy. Now, what am I going to do? So he was able to design costumes that looks like babu and lions and the rest of them. So he called a friend of his. Since we can't get the chimpanzee and the babu, I want you to wear the chimpanzee costume for me. Please do it so that I could retain those who are admiring my zoo. So the guy who did it designed it very well, just like a babu. So he wore it and started jumping around the zoo. So people didn't know the difference between the guy and whatever that was happening there before. So people were coming. But one particular day, where he was bouncing around and entertaining the guests. He didn't know when he found himself inside the lion's den. And so while he was jumping and jumping, hear him inside the lion's den. Well, the lion didn't waste time. Yes, that's a paid job, but you are inside the lion's den. So the lion pounced on him. He screamed, started calling the zoo owner. This is not what we pay for the lion to destroy me. While he was screaming at the loud, he had the lion tap him a little bit. Wait now. The next thing he had was, Jide, calm down now. Nami Chris. Nami, we are the lion. We're there in the same business. He didn't get the joke. The person he didn't know that was bouncing on him happens to be another guy who was wearing the lion's costume. He said, Jide, calm down now. Now, Chris, Nami, we are the lion's costume. There's no job anywhere. We're all in the same thing. The line of the story is that we're all in the same jacket. If you feel frustrated like the gentleman told you, those fantastic speakers, we're all in the same jacket of trying to figure out how this country can move forward. Trying to figure out the possibilities of being a better you, of being the best thing that will happen to your family. If it's possible, being the one that will bring the chain of poverty out of your family. And for me, it's all about three things. The slides might not really be necessary, I don't know, but if you can, that will be fine. I'm looking at what Warren Buffett once said, and I quote, he said, look for three things in a man. And those three things, he listed them out as what? Intelligence, which is information. Second one, he talked about energy. And third, he talked about integrity. But he said if you can't find the third one, you may as well leave the first two. The first one is what? I can't hear you. Intelligence. It's difficult to manage an illiterate. I'm being frank with you. It's very difficult to manage an illiterate. And for those of you who think I'm paying a lot to have knowledge or to acquire knowledge, wait until you manage illiteracy. There's one man that is easily liberated. That's an informed man. Information differs the boys from the men. Void of information is enough of deformation. Readers of today are leaders of tomorrow. It takes an informed person to be a strategist. I told a friend of mine, I will never trust a nurse whose husband is a casket seller. He didn't hear me well. I said it takes intelligence and information to be a strategist. And I said I will never trust a nurse whose husband or father is a casket seller, because he has two options. Either you survive in her hospital or you increase her husband's business strategy. A good friend of mine told me when he was building his hospital, he said, I will develop the hospital and I will also build a mortuary because my money must come back. If I try this, it's not working, I'll collect my money from here. Information is very important, Warren Buffett said. Look for three things in a man, an informed man. Are we really evolving in Africa? These are discussions we should begin to bring low. Are we really? Or after these conferences, we are where we are. Look at the national discourse today. I don't want to go into that because I don't want to spoil your program. What are we talking about? What's the Senate talking about? What's the executive talking about? Information, intelligence. An informed man is a liberated man. And this cuts across every facet of life. Whether you are talking about family, as a matter of fact, everything that has been spoken about today resonates from the family. I was talking with him earlier. I reminded him what the wife. Where's Jamie, by the way? Okay. The wife wrote something on her page. Here is the man of the moment, my husband. It's about speaking to the world. I read that and I sent it to him. I said, this is what every man needs to survive in the society. It doesn't matter whatever you think. If you like, read your master's in Harvard. Do your PhD in Oxford. If you have a messed up family, you're not going to go far. Am I communicating with anybody? I told someone, I said, if you marry a bad wife or a bad husband, Satan will withdraw his demons from your family. He has settled you with misery for life. No tools about it. So for you to be able to get it right, you need information. What is going to be family values? You need to know how men and women are wired. You need to know functionality of families and how it works. A lot of great men and women today who are having dysfunctional families, having problems in their workplace, is because of deficiency in homes. When a man's home is not working, his work doesn't work. Yesterday, when somebody was asking Aproko whether he belongs to Manchester or Man U and the rest of them, and both of them were fighting over clubs, and I was laughing. All of you used to love Man City, one of the best clubs in the world. All of a sudden, they don't know how to play again, right? They're almost going for relegation. I'm telling you the effects of a man's life and marriage. It's not a function of whether Man City is still playing or whether the players are doing well or not. There was a gentleman who was a manager. Whether you want to talk about a managerial sale, a guy who has everything going for him until the marriage started doing what? What's his name again? Sorry? Your thought is good as mine. You got to fix your home. In Europe, North America and the rest of them, I discovered that the roads are safer than their homes. Yes, because before you drive, they're going to take you through a lot of tests. Here you call it a VIO. They're going to take you through a lot of programs for you to be able to drive. You read signs and whatever. Those of you that have been there, they give you signs of things. If you don't pass, then they'll give you a license. If they give you a license, you fail, they withdraw it. But the same people that will give you a lot of tests, take you through a lot of processes to be able to drive on their roads. You meet a lady on Monday, I love you on Tuesday, you're wedded on Wednesday, break on Friday. So I think the roads are safer. So what does it take? It takes information. Whether it's information technology, whether knowledge-driven economy, information is very important. The other, I think a couple of hours ago, I saw a young man kneeling over there, and the young lady, everybody gathered, they were shouting, say yes, say yes, say. I said, don't say any yes. Don't say any yes. Whether it's going to be a marriage or anything, you need three things. Get enough information. Information is intelligence. Secondly, I'm talking about marriage and business now. Get understanding. Marriage is not based on love. I'm going to say it again. Marriage is not based. If marriage is based on love, some of our fathers are divorced. What did they have before they got married? Marriage is based on understanding. If marriage is based on love, then it's infatuating, because when something that is bigger than love attacks it, like sicknesses and disease, there are tendencies that marriage is going to crash. So you need information. You need a lot of information. And information comes from the purview of intelligence. Are we reading today? What kind of curriculum did our fathers collect from our colonial masters? What kind of curriculum did they set up for us? Was Africa really meant to fail or succeed? What kind of education are we having? Why is it that Nigerians leave the poverty of this nation and go to America? I was sharing with Charles in the morning. I said, when my wife had a baby in the US, I discovered that all the doctors that handled them were all Nigerians. What is wrong with us that when they leave this place, they start doing well? Is there anything that cost Africa? Or somebody positioned us for failure? Or we are not properly informed? Why is it that the best scientist in the whole world is a Nigerian? Somebody just bought airport in UK. He's going to buy an island somewhere in, I'm trying to remember where he bought 4 days ago or something. He's a Nigerian. What is wrong with us? Information. We have to understand this. Nations in the world that are doing well are the ones who have arranged the proper education and curriculum, where it suits their nation and drive their nation forward. Whether it's going to be in politics, he said, look for 3 things in a man. Information. I like the way they introduced me as a pastor, because the church has killed more people than the Afghanistan and Iraq war because of ignorance. Unfortunately today, just like police, with due respect to some of my police officers who came with me, in those days, when a child is not doing well, the next thing they tell him, go and join the police. The church should no longer be for dropouts, for semi-illiterates who don't know the left and the right. As a matter of fact, some of the things we are praying for in Africa, technology has solved them in Europe. I don't know whom I'm talking to now. So many of the things we're arguing about and praying and binding and losing. It may sadden you to know that most churches in Europe are closing down. Because when they discover a certain truth that has not been evolving, they close it up and give it over for factories. What is it that we are not doing right? That's why he said, look for 3 things in a man, and he talked about information. Why are we not informed? By the grace of God, I don't want to tell the story of my life, but presently, I'm the country director of one of the fastest growing hospitals in Nigeria now. So I manage doctors. I've also had the privilege of seeing people die, and I've seen them make their last wishes. I've seen people walk in ignorance. I've seen pastors hide in wards, undergoing treatment and telling their members that they traveled out. I've seen us tell lies to ourselves and live in deceit and hypocrisy. I've also seen the good aspect of life. I took you somewhere, if you remember, our dialysis center, when you came. I said, stop telling people to drink water. That's what I told you, right? Add that drink water or you come here. Yeah. That's where you see big men, I was showing him, with their sirens. They sneak in the evening, do their dialysis, continue with their siren, and you don't know. And some of them are pastors because you are not informed. Void of information is enough of deformation. So talking about Warren Buffett asking us for information, we have a lot of young men today that are informed. I was advocating that EFCC should look into the ways of arresting boys because they are carrying laptops. Rather help them rediscover themselves. He said, look for people that have information. Thousands of these young men that you are chaining here and there. These are young men and women with versatile information who are going about looking for where to, harness these positive energies they have. We call them criminals. My cousin was telling me one of the assignments they gave them at one of the universities in the US. Go back home at the course of this your holiday, go hack the following stuffs. You know what I'm talking about, those of you who read cybersecurity. Go hack this. If you do it, any organization, especially financial institutions that are not changing their code are going to be hacked almost on a weekly basis. And people are thinking, here they are branded as criminals. Our prison yards are filling up with intellectuals who have the intelligence. Number 2 is energy. Number 1, he says what? Number 1 is what? Intelligence, which is information. And I told you earlier, let me not miss that point, that if you are going to marry, 3 things you need: information, comprehension, and wisdom, which is application. What is information? Go to find out. I don't care how hasty the guy is. He came back from Canada or from US or from Cambodia. I don't care where he came back from. You must pass through this 3 information before saying yes. What do you do? Clearing and what do you clear? What do you forward? There's no joke about it. A friend said he went somewhere and they were advertising for goods and services and he was going to be employed. And someone was saying, they're going to pay you 2 million. And I said, oh, they're going to pay you 2 million in a month. He said, yeah. He said, I couldn't believe that nobody has applied. I said, that's a sense of foolishness. In the whole of that street, you're the only person wise that they're going to employ. Did you find enough information where they are paying this kind of amount and no other person that applied? Do you know that the last 16 people that applied and got the job, out of 16, 8 have died? Through what they held from that company? Information. Very important, which is intelligence. Before engaging, whether it's work or marriage, what do you do? What kind of marriage are we going into? That's information. Traditional marriage, secular marriage, there are all kinds of marriage. The young lady said they went to the village where the young man married her. All of a sudden in the night, after all this semester, you know what it is? They go home. He said, I was lying down, a python came. This is not makeup. Very huge python came up And she initially thought it was a noise or something until the whole thing was crawling towards her. When she saw it, she screamed above her voice frequency, shouted, "Sweetheart, come!" The guy, as he was coming, saw the python. The young man was giving, in fact, as far as I'm concerned, he was glorifying. He says the one has come to honor our marriage. That's their culture. Did you find out enough information before saying? Yes. Did you find out enough information, the kind of marriage you're going in? And he was telling him, if you don't move me from here, I'm going to kill myself. You're not going to kill yourself. You should have done enough needs assessment, enough information. What kind of marriage am I going into? If it's tradition, what kind of tradition do you have? Are you like another place where young ladies, when they put to bed, the baby has to be passed through the crocodile? Are you ready to take that kind of thing? Medically, are you cleared before saying yes? What is your genotype? No, love covers it. Love covereth multitude of everything. We're going to marry. No, love does not cover genotype. If you are AS, I'm AS. It was nice meeting you. Bye. No, it doesn't matter. Cockroach in my cupboard. Mosquito in my net. Sugar in my tea. It doesn't go to that. What is your resource factor? What is resource factor? When a woman's resource factor is not matching with the blood of the man, there are tendencies that every baby she conceive is going to die. And people in the village will be saying, if it's in Igbo, Urinwa. And the woman will be bearing a name out of illiteracy. And she'll go to church and receive false prophecy for a guy who has never been to the 4 walls of education. But when you check your resource factor and check your genotype and other things which you are supposed to look into, you have enough information. Then you go into verification, which is comprehension I'm talking about. This thing this guy spoke to me, is it true? Is it true? He tells me he's doing clearing and forwarding. And where is he doing clearing and forwarding? In Brunu. Do they have wharf in Brunu where they do clearing and forwarding? Then the last but not the least in that place is wisdom, which is application. Application is now when you said, I want to be part of this company. Application is when you say, I want to say yes, look at my hand, put up a ring. You don't go to that stage. So 3 things he asked for. 1 is what? I can't hear you. Number 2 is what? Men with energy. Massive strength. That's what we're saying today. Unfortunately, this energy is not in tandem with intelligence. When you see a young man with energy without intelligence, you look annoying. School is a necessity, it's not an option. And when we mention school, remove your mind from Unilag. Remove your mind from whatever you think you are. There are a lot of, I call them educated fools. When we mention education, today it has been simplified. Make Google your friend. Study to make yourself approved. Scripturally, they said, a workman who does not to be ashamed, rightly dividing the word. Research, evolve, get out of where you are. Today, there are 3 things that's going to help you in life. Number 1, services you render. Say it again. I can't hear you. Number 2, products. Product you have. I can't hear you. Number 3, deceit. That one didn't sound loud. Number 3 is what? If you can't have a product, you don't have any service to render, go and cook up one what? Deceit. It can also give you some money. Services you render, you must have something working for you. Otherwise, you're going to be very deceitful. You're going to manipulate people. You're going to get into crime. You must find out something. Talking about products, I brought something here. Last time in Port Harcourt, when I was speaking, I mentioned that a group of doctors, of whom I'm part of them, that manage them, came together to begin to look at products that can help to society. One of the greatest killers of humanity today is, or silent killers, is high blood pressure. And a lot of people today are dying because of non-communicable diseases. What you saw in that place, people falling out of kidney problems and the rest of them, are those who did not manage their blood sugar well and didn't manage their hypertension. Now, managing hypertension, whether it's your diastolic or systolic, is not just the numbers that are reading. Who interprets these numbers and tell you when they are going out of space? So these doctors decided to come up with this. Most of you know about your fig, which you take. I'm sure that's what they think I came up here with. Absolutely different. Now, science have taken over. That's why I say so many things we are praying for in Africa has been answered in Europe. What I have here is supposed to be a fig. And if you look at this, you put this, and it checks your BP. But the difference between what I have here and what you have regularly in the market is this one has a lithium battery, all right, which is what you have here. So this is similarly to what you have in your phone. I'm sure some of you are thinking where to find it in a Dumota. It's not yet in the market, and you can't find it in any market in the world. Now, this can last for 2 months. Here is the first fig, medical fig, BP fig, that has a SIM card. Look at the SIM card. You should be clapping now. This is somebody's husband. It has a SIM card. Now, the SIM card could be MTN, Glo, depending on your network. It's so fascinating that even if you don't have network, when you have network wherever you are, it's going to pick up your readings and transmit to the hospital of your choice. This you have here, I'm being frank. Look at the QR code here. So a family of 10 can use this. We have a free app that has been developed here. I don't have time, but if I check the national president BP, which you wouldn't want me to check here now, I can assure you that within seconds, a call will come in. Ask him, where did you take this? If the readings are out of order, the doctors will mention immediately. And they made spaces. Now, if I have my, I don't know whether I got my this slice, which I didn't want to use, you will see a lot of devices. They have that of sugar. I showed you all. There is one that a regular doctor like him is known for stethoscope. But there's a digital stethoscope that's in the village, because the biggest problem with health today is primary health care. The woman in the village doesn't have anybody to help her. If you see any consultant in the village, he came for evangelism. Or he came to greet his mom. But that's the truth. I was asking him in the morning, I said, this word, preeclampsia, sounds like one big grammar, right? But that's the problem so many of our mothers are going through in the villages without even knowing. What is preeclampsia? Hypertension in pregnancy. Or sugar. And this can kill a woman on the spot. You know what I'm talking about. But we've developed a device which, this is not what I asked you to bring, this is dollar. If you go to the images, you would have seen some devices. There's a cup there that has a strip. All the woman needs to do in the village, technologically driven, is to put her urine on it. The color will change. Whichever color that changes, she will check her phone. Whatever matches on the phone will determine whether she's having preeclampsia, and technology will move it. The point I'm making, yes, you can clap. The point I'm making there is that the world is evolving. So you need a lot of information. You need a lot of energy, and this energy has to be harnessed. Like an eagle, the difference is, he said he likes me when I speak about eagles. Eagles are very special birds. Eagles are not like, in fact, there's a saying that it is very hard to soar like an eagle after working with turkeys. That's the truth. Eagles don't copulate on surface ground. They go to the mountains because they don't want the eaglets to have low mentality. You need to have positive energy like an eagle. If you read about eagles, the gestation period of an eagle looks like 40 years, right? That's what the books will tell you. The other day in the US, a friend of mine showed me an eagle that is up to 75 years. So what happened? That eagle evolved. And for an eagle to evolve, you should know when to get out of the stage. When you're getting weak. When you're running out of words and energy. An eagle gets to the mountain. What does it do to the mountain? Mutilation in English. What's mutilation? It goes there to beat the peak. Gets weak, the wings goes off, renewed, and the rest of them. Eagle doesn't fly. Because if it's supposed to fly, it's going to depend on the wings. Eagles soar. And for them to soar, that means they require the what? The wind. Every good eagle knows the direction of the wind so that they don't struggle. I say it again. Every good eagle knows the direction of the wind so that they don't soar. Eagles don't just make nests. They pick sticks from wherever they go. If an eagle comes to Lagos, he picks a stick. Why did they pick stick? Every stick an eagle picks is the historic representation of where they have been before. What is the meaning of that? Since I came in here, I'm learning cultures. You learn Yoruba. What we are eating over there, those gentlemen that were eating behind us, I was hearing their languages. They didn't sound like Nigerians. I even want to see how they eat. Have you ever eaten with a Chinese before? They will use stick and point your eyes. I'm sure this man will tell you better. Historic representation of where you have been before. Then they carve the nets. So how do they make the nets? They make them in a way to accommodate the younger falcons and the eaglets. But there's something they call the protrudings among the eagles. The protrudings are the sticks which they put in the net to make the young eaglets look uncomfortable. I may be speaking to somebody in our life is so uncomfortable to you. Forget about the fakery and the packaging and everything. It's not all going rosy for you. I mean, you pushed yourself to be here. Against all odds, you are here. If you are such a person, I salute you this afternoon for being there. The protrudings of life. Why do those sticks? Life sometimes introduces sticks to us. Sticks of frustration, exasperation, despondency, despair, obsessions. What do you do when you don't know what to do? What do you do those you are pursuing lizard or pursuing rat? What do you do when life is changing on you without solution? Among all the books I've read about Christian books, none touched me like when God does not make sense. What do you do when you pray and it's like prayers are not working? He put the protruding. The protrudings of life comes. Yes, because at the end of this program, everybody's going to go. Jamie's going to travel back. But there are those of you I know. The night looks like day for you. Day looks like nights. What do you do when those tears are rolling and there's nobody to pat your back and to say, sweetie, hold on, it's going to be over. The darkest part of the night is the time close to dawn. It is when it gets dark that you see the beauty of the star, that the strength of the tea bag is in the hot water. Who is that person to hold you and tell you, don't give up, that winners don't quit and quitters don't win? Who is to remind you that before the fool lands the game, the players have dispersed and the rules have changed? Who is to remind you that the strength of the tea bag is in the hot water? He pulls the protrudings so that the eaglets will not be too comfortable. That's what exactly that is happening in your life now. Because if they get too comfortable, they're going to remain in the nest. So it creates avenue to push them out at the right time. I'm talking about energy. You have energy. See, when a man has intelligence and has energy, he's a dangerous man. But get him integrity. So when you see FCC say, we have arrested 17 with laptop, these are young men with intelligence, energy, but they lack number 3. What the government owns them is number 3, but the government has failed them. That's why we have army of youths that are angry, looking where to dissipate their energy. My friend said he brought up a program, digitalized it with his friends, commanders of a company, started it, coded it, and they tell themselves, his son just came one afternoon and said, Dad, sorry, I decoded what you, son of 14 years, I decoded what you and your friends did, but I'll code it back on Tuesday. He called his friends for an emergency meeting and said, my house is in trouble. If you know what this army of youths, that's why I salute his courage. You know, for the first time I called him yesterday and said, my global president, he laughed himself out. Yes. The world needs this. The greatest mistake you will make, is to play with these young men with energy, with intelligence. What point am I making? Okay, I see him standing. Give me 5 minutes, I'm done. In America today, they mention dog. Is it dog? Do you know what is provoking the Democrats? They said the boys are too young. How many of you are following? That they wear jeans and t-shirt. I'm talking about the boys working with Elon Musk. They are your type. Decoding and uncoding America. Yes. 3 things I mentioned today. Very important. They are the ones ruling the society. Further 3 things. If you're going to decide for nation building, you have to be armed politically. Get into politics. Be positive. Be intentional about it. Number 2, economical. You must have an economic base. Results cancels insults. You must be intentional about it. 3, spiritual base. Don't die the death of a fool. I mentioned the 4th thing. I keep mentioning 3. Politically connected. There are certain calls that change the situation. The lady that spoke earlier, I salute her courage. It gets to a point when you need to put up a call. Had a facility somewhere in the country, a very big one. Somebody told me government made a mistake in their flyover and your facility is going to go down. They are asking you to move it yourself or they will cut it. At that point, you need to put a proper call. Have your political connections. It took one call for them. Somebody said, bend it, don't touch it. Bend it. Since you made the mistake, bend it. Number 2, financial base. Number 3, spiritual base. I don't mix words when I tell people without mixing words. I love God. You're going to be smart. What is smart? XMOAT. You're going to have specific move, measurable, attainable, realistic, and time-bound. I'm going to say it again. Specific, measurable these days, attainable, not building whole hand on a single sand. You've got to stretch your mind. It's very important. The decisions you take, not your condition, determines your future. What did I say? The decisions you take, not your condition, determines your future. One more time. The decisions you take, not your condition, determines your future. Get enough information that is going to help you and the society. God bless every one of you. I love you. For the book, 1 second, sir. Everything, it's difficult, like Dr. Olumide said yesterday, it's difficult to bring things together. There's a lot to say. I've not even started. There's a lot to say on IT, technology, what have you. There's a book that we're coming up, Challenges of Liberation, Volume 1 and 2. Please, any of our social media, Austen Nnadi, Austen, not IN. Follow us on social media, please. The hospital has a lot of packages for the youths. Greeting from Dr. Richard Okoye, so aware of this program. And on our social media, let me know how we can collaborate with you to work and to help you. Please go there, follow us, and send me a message how I can get you the book over, whatever you need there. These devices are available. I have 2,000 pieces that my foundation decided to subside to make sure it gets into every one of your hands, including the sugar devices. After they fill 2,000, to get back to its normal price. But please get on our social media handle, AUSTEN, Austen Nnadi, or any of our handles. Please try as much as possible to let me know how we can work together to get our world going. God bless everyone.